Welcome to Inside of the Pleasure Studio podcast, where we strip down truths and bear it all as we get real about all things sex, intimacy, and relationships with oneself, another, and the world around us, celebrating the joy of being fully alive and exploring what it means to live a life rich with passion. Every episode, we confront the conventional and break open the cages of censorship as we explore the untamed and often unspoken aspects of intimacy, cutting through the bullshit as we challenge sexual norms and provide you with the unvarnished truth about what it takes to have a fulfilling sex life. So if you're ready to dive into honest and very often provocative conversations that empower and enlighten, you've come to the right place. I am Melissa Louise, your wild host, bringing to you fearless honesty on this unapologetic journey as we talk about sex, love, and life in ways that are smart, fearless, and fun. Because, lover, this is not just about pleasure. It is a fucking revolution.
Lovers, the glorious moment to you. This is Melissa Louise, your absolute pleasure advocate. And today I'm going to be discussing this narrative that often gets spoken, especially by men, but, many people, that men are not designed to be monogamous because they are designed to spread their seed. So when we're looking at the narrative that humans are not meant to be monogamous, often it is tethered to the fact that, well, it's actually men that are not designed to be monogamous because they need to, spread who they are. And I'm going to dissect this, and we're going to flip the script that it's actually more so women that are not designed, and how women are safer and are more designed in their primal nature not to be monogamous because of what they need, not the narrative that men need to spread their seed. There's a very good reason why they need to ejaculate a lot with many women, but it's not for the reason of their sort of, I've got to go and populate the world. So to have this conversation, I want to bring was it Robin Baker? I want to cite, I'm not going to cite paragraphs out of his book, but there's a book called The Sperm Wars by Robin Baker. And he just really flips the script too around when a woman becomes pregnant, that whole process. So when we're looking at monogamy, and if you've been in my field for a while, you've heard me speak about this, how monogamy is actually really dangerous for women. It causes a lot of health issues. And what it also does is it weakens our men, and it fucks up the planet, and it keeps the population in adolescent behavior. Said it all out loud. Said the whole fucking lot. I'm not against people who decide to be in a divine union, as some people. I'm not saying that because I don't believe in it. I'm saying people call it divine union if they want to be in a committed relationship just with one person. Everyone has choice. I think it's fucking phenomenal. Yet most people don't even do monogamy really well. They don't do relationships well. There's a lot of coercion. There's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of beliefs of how things should just be. And many people are in relationships following a dogma or a construct given to them by government structures, religious structures, societal structures. Actually, not the two people making these beautiful agreements that they truly want. They're doing what they should do. That's the issue when I speak around many, many relationships, is that people are not alive and they're not vibrant. And they're not really in love with the relationship they're in. It's not the fact that monogamy is not okay for them. It's how they're doing it. And so this is where we get to expand our vision of relationships. But when we're looking at what a woman's body is designed for, how children are designed, how we're meant to be raising our children, when it's very common knowledge that when a woman is pregnant and giving birth, people are always saying our children are meant to be raised by a village. It's not just a child, it's actually the relationship. Everyone's meant to be living and being raised in a village. That's how the human nature is. We're not meant to be doing everything in this isolated, trauma-driven based construct of existence. So one man, one woman, raising 2 to 3 children, sometimes 4 children in a household is trauma. It is so exhausting. And it's a fight and flight. It's stressful. Rather than trauma, I should say stress-filled. It is so stressful, which creates trauma on the nervous system, trauma in the stomach, in our digestion, creates trauma in the brain. We have menopause. We have the issue around menopause because of the way that we're designed to live. A woman's body is not designed to fuck her over. A woman's body is not designed to be so problematic. The issue is a woman's body is at the moment required to live in a culture and a system that's against her. So therefore, the result is all of the issues with menopause. This is not a little video about that. I'm going to get back to the sperm wars, and I'm going to change this narrative that it's not just men that need to spread their seed. It's actually women that need non-monogamy to raise their children for safety and power. Not power over, so that it's very powerful. It's a powerful experience. Excuse me. So where was I coming back to? So when so a child is meant to be raised by a village, and the village isn't like, mum, dad in a house, and therefore the village are other. The concept of children being raised in a village is that, in the true sense, she may not, or the mother cannot be 100% and need not to be 100% sure who the father is of her child, unless, of course, she's been, only making love with one man for a certain amount of time and becomes pregnant. She doesn't fucking fall over. She becomes pregnant during that time. But if when we're looking at, when a woman is in ovulation, when a woman is on ovulation and how she wants to make love with many, many men during that time of ovulation and making love and fucking different men. And if her egg chooses a sperm, we're not quite sure which sperm it chose. Unless, of course, she's, with a very white-skinned, red-haired man. And then she's with, a black man with, incredible hair. And then she's with a Hispanic guy. And, whatever if she's with 3 completely different men, then her child would come, obviously, maybe not obviously, but near on obviously who the father is. Yet, if we're looking at community and we're looking at village where we raise and everyone looks after each other, we're going to be looking at the primal brain in a moment, then to be exactly sure, now that is needed so that all men look after the child, all men protect all children, not the child, all children. So if we're looking at a village-based living existence where there's community and where women have many partners, then all of those partners will look after her as they will look after their other partners. And that woman will nurture all of her partners. So when we isolate this whole experience of one man, one woman in a household, the job, life that is meant to be taken care of from a village perspective is now landed onto 2 people instead of 34, 35 people. So when I say monogamy fucks up the planet, is now we have men making decisions that are based on profit to pay the mortgage to get the kids into school, not based on, are my grandchildren going to have fucking clean water? Does my child and my partnership and my future grandchildren, am I leaving them a legacy that they're going to be well because the choices I'm making are based on keeping our food clean, our water clean, access to freedom? Or in this isolation, trauma-driven, cortisol-driven, stress-driven scenario, is the mortgage needs to be paid because he is the only one responsible. And I'm doing this in the arbitrary. He's the only one responsible for looking after the family as far as money-wise. And then now we have where 2 people need to be doing that instead of the whole village. So then when we're looking at a culture that's based in community, if the house needs fixing, say the roof needs fixing, it's not one man that's up, he's got to go and make more money or she's going to make more money to fix it. It's like everyone comes together and fixes the roof. And everyone gets fed by everyone. And all children are raised and protected by everyone because it's everyone's business. So I think I've said that on a few different other episodes because I'm very passionate about this. I don't know if I'm going to see a huge shift in my lifetime. I'd love to see it. But we need to be having more communal living that's around our existence, our living, even going into like for our mortgages where groups of people get mortgages, all of that stuff, land, and it could just be groups of women. It could just be groups of men. And then you have visitation rights. Anyway, we're not going to go down to that. So when we're looking at women need to be fucking and making love with lots of men, as opposed to men having to fuck to spread their seed. The reason they need to spread their seed is so that it's a numbers game that at least one of them will be chosen by an egg. So another thing that monogamy has created is a very sick and weak society because it's not the strongest of the fittest. Often when I know I used to think when someone said the strongest of the fittest, I would think of someone getting sick and then dying. They can't exist beyond this level of strength. That's the strongest of the fittest. But the strongest of the, it is a part of that. A strongest of the fittest actually begins at the selection of the sperm. So in monogamy, the egg has one choice only. So I'm going to be a little bit like sassy here. So when someone is in partnership, every time ovulation happens, the egg's like, that's it? No, that's it every month. And if this is your experience where you have been in a long-term relationship, you're trying to become pregnant and you're not becoming pregnant, I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to be, but it's just like, your egg is just like, it's not the fittest. You might be in love, but it's not the fittest of choice. And we hear this a lot, that when a couple are together for 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 years, they're trying to become pregnant. She does not become pregnant. They separate, she falls pregnant within a couple of months, or one night stand. It's not her type. Different choice. The egg's like, oh, thank God. So we don't have natural selection anymore. I'm not saying anything really. I'm not going to try and dissect what it, because we don't have natural selection. When the egg does choose the sperm that's consistently available to her, as opposed to if she had choice, if the egg had choice to choose amongst 3 or 4, she's going to pick the fittest. So if we look at our population in large, there's a lot of illness that is part, when they say, oh, it's epigenetics, it's illness. You are going to be sick because we don't need to be. We don't need to be. But we've created this constant lineage of illness and weakness. So even if we look at mental illness, instability, look at our world, it's fucking nuts. It's nuts. And in the world of natural selection, where the egg actually had many sperm to choose from, a lot of us would not have been born. Right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. Stating a fact. So another thing that we are taught is, and this is coming back to The Sperm Wars by Robin Baker, is that the sperm goes into the womb and impregnates the egg. That's not true. And it's also interesting, the culture, especially what's going on at the moment up north in northern part of this continent, where women are having all of their rights, systematically removed again, and we don't have autonomy over our body and our selection. And the RAPE culture is just being completely revived and supported even more strongly. The way that we are taught about pregnancy is also in that culture. Sperm goes in, it's going to pregnate, it's going to go into the egg. The egg reaches out and chooses. So in non-monogamy, not in community-based existence and in our natural way of fucking and making love and existing, we have choice. It's why men have more prolactin in their bodies just before they orgasm, just before the ejaculation, like milliseconds before the ejaculation, prolactin gets released, so they fall asleep. So men are often after big ejaculation, they want to sleep. They're like exhausted, pass out. Women are wanting to bond. And this is the issue. We have to bond with that person instead of having someone else. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. So a man will pass out. So that is generally not every man. This is not 100, not every man, not all men. Anyway, not all men have high levels of prolactin, but they certainly have more levels than women. And so there's part of actually, even some men feel so repelled. I've had a lovemaking where he was so, thank God we had conversations before the lovemaking, but he was so repelled after ejaculation. And that way we can go off and be with another man, because if they're repelled, if they don't want to be near the woman, if they're exhausted, they're asleep, they're not going to come and fight the guy over here to like, don't, it's my seed. I've got to have my seed to be chosen. So when we have lots of seeds to be chosen from, it's because we're going to be making love over the next 3-4 days. When we look at the fact that, you know, if a woman goes into her ovulation around day 13, let's just say day 13, she jumps into ovulation around 12, 13, so 12, let's day 12, yeah? If she makes love with a man on day 11, his sperm can survive because the ovulation comes in, like he's waiting to see if he's going to be, so that's why he can live outside of his environment, be in another environment so that he can be chosen. And, you know, 99 or 98% of the sperm are actually warrior knight sperm to get it of a man's ejaculation. It's just like king sperm, queen bee. So there's only a few that are able to create pregnancy in, not all of that sperm count is able to create pregnancy. It's only the king ones, but all the others are the fighter sperm. They're going to kill off the other sperm that's in there. So when we're looking at a man is not monogamous, you know, they're not geared to be monogamous. You've got to spread their seed. You've got to spread your seed a lot to see if one's going to get chosen. You're not spreading your seed to take over the world. You have to fucking well spread your seed to see if an egg is going to see if a egg within a womb is going to like you. So you need to be in Los Angeles, and when one egg would go, oh, we could. And all of these other ones are going, nah. We're not a good fit. Survival of the fittest is also around, are we going to be a good fit? What's going to be creative? What's moving on? So a lot of the issues that are placed onto the women, it's your womb, it's your body, it's your egg count, it's your issue. It is not. It's actually to do with the man and his sperm. I'm not saying it isn't at times, but also many women are raised in so much stress. We don't honor our cycles. So by the time we're trying to become pregnant, we are dealing with an uphill battle because we haven't been able to treat our bodies as female bodies. We've had to act like men for so long in the way that we have to be governed on the sun calendar. That of course there is issues. That even then, even though if it is an issue within her body, the way that is being created and how has it come about. So men need to spread their seed. None of us are designed to be monogamous, but it's actually women that need to be more non-monogamy for the safety of the raising of the children, to have shelter and food, to raise her children and have freedom, so that she's protected and all of her children are protected. Non-monogamy is the most safest thing for women to birth children within, I should say. Because monogamous relationships are the most dangerous relationships for a woman. Even if it's not physically and violently an issue, it's an issue for her disease. We live less time, we're sicker, we're more ill because of what we are required to carry in this non-communal way of living, that we are required to carry so much emotional load of the one partner and physical load of raising the one partner's children, and then what our body goes through to be doing it, because we don't have community, cooking for them, helping them, fixing that, we don't have community. And it is a huge toll on the female body. It's great for the man because men get to stay in adolescent behavior in monogamous relationships. Not all men. Not all men. But because they don't have community, they don't have support. I'm not saying men are choosing to, it is by design. And we're seeing it, what they're calling the male epidemic, this male loneliness epidemic. And we see it where men are just not cared for in culture and society because they're so isolated. Higher rates of suicide, high rates of addiction, high rates of crime. That is a result of not having community. It is a result of monogamy and religion. That is a result of this. Monogamy doesn't fucking suit anyone as far as health and wealth. We've made it look like it works. We've got a structure where monogamy does work, but it doesn't work for the environment. We can have better child raising practices. We can have more time and more freedom if we weren't monogamous. But there's no way religion's going to let go of that because they lose control. Religion is so fucking controlling in the monogamous relationship where the man rules. Anyway. So, this narrative that the man's not designed, he's designed to spread his seed. Often it's said that he's in the power. It's like, no, you have to design your seed to hope that one person's going to choose it. That's the flip of the narrative. I hope you've enjoyed this sassy coming in. And did you like my new setup? Oh, that's why I get sassier sitting on an animal skin. I would love to hear your feedback, your comments, and all of this. Oh, I'm going to do one on the whole tread wife thing. Oh, so this is going to be my next topic. All right, lovers, have the most glorious moment. I'm not here saying leave your partnership if you're in a great partnership at all. If it works, amazing. Amazing. We don't live in a culture exactly right now that has the space, but we've got to build it. We're building it. There's corners building. There's in the corners, there's building it. You know? I still feel like I'm a baby in all of this. I certainly don't not up on the hot. Like I'm not, yeah, I've got it. I'm sitting on the sidelines going, it's never worked and I've always had issues with it. And then this is why. And as I'm learning all of these new layers, but yeah. Robin Baker, The Sperm Wars. Great book. Eye-opener. Have a glorious moment. Go and fill your life with pleasure because you were designed for that. It's what we came here for.
You have been inside of the Pleasure Studio, where all things intimate are up for discussion. Thanks for getting real with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If this conversation sparks something within you, do not hesitate to share it by emailing me via the link below. If you're not already, you can follow my good tush on the social media handles also below, and make sure to hit subscribe. Tune in next time for more truths about pleasure and passion. Until then, stay bold, courageous, and truthful as you explore your pleasure your way.